Science jerks. Science jerks. Science jerks. The rate of change in acceleration of science. Science jerks.
Welcome to the Science Jerks. I'm your host, Dave Chowchild. With me, as usual, Robert Chan.
Hi.
And we're back for the second episode with our very special guest, Carlo Moss. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
That voice does not sound like a high school girl.
No, but this one does.
Or this one.
How many voices do you do on there?
I do, as of the last episode, I do 5. I do Deandra, who has a robot arm and eats a lot and talks about poop.
I do Rachel Tice, who's a very big fan of Gossip Girl.
I do Blaine, who, he doesn't read a lot of books, but he likes to think of the best of people. And then I also do a couple of voices that are just in my own voice, basically. a couple of announcers, a couple of characters whose dialogue extends exclusively to the words "yeah" and "so."
Could you just, for the rest of the podcast, just do those voices? Because I could just listen to that.
Yeah, I suppose so. I could be amenable to that.
What do you think about flies who eat sperm?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get hungry and you gotta do what you gotta do if you don't have a Slim Jim around.
Once,
you know what? We
run out
didn't
of story
say-
ideas, come to us. We will give you all sorts of story ideas for most popular girls.
Mostly stories about how the most popular girls in school don't talk to certain people in school. Tons of stories about that.
Well, I was thinking science-based, but sure. Yeah, we can draw from our own lives. That's another thing.
I don't think we prefaced this whole discussion with Carlo's show is called The Most Popular Girls in School.
That it is.
It's very funny. It's on YouTube channel. What's it called?
It's youtube.com/the most
Girls.
popular girls, or you can just go to mostpopulargirlsinschool.com. Although that's a lot to type into.
That's an
a
awful
URL.
lot. It's a big old URL.
That's something we didn't realize until a very long time into it. We're like, oh, we have a long URL.
Did you have like an acronym for it, like
MPGIS.
Did you buy that URL?
No, that one's taken by like a robotics company.
It sounded. I was going to say that. Like, it sounds like a robotics company. It shouldn't, because it's just a collection of letters.
Exactly.
And yet MPGIS sounds like something creating some sort of wheeled death machine.
Yeah, it sounds like something that
Laser cannons.
Cheney illegally funneled money into at some point.
Oh, well, Cheney did illegally funnel money into our show.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right,
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's how we were able to buy all the Barbies.
I got a real strong neocon vibe from that.
Yep.
It's like, wait a minute, was that Blackwater in the background? It doesn't even make sense. That would be that at high school.
Did that
Scatter!
Did that girl just say take over the Middle East? Wait, the show's
It
got
was
strange.
coded.
Let's do some science.
Astrogravitology.
Collapsars. Exciting, no? Collapsars are actually neutron stars, which are stars when they supernova. If they're big enough, they'll collapse into themselves. They're not big enough to be a black hole, but it will be so compact. It's basically about 1.5 solar masses, 1.5 times the size of the sun, compressed down to about 20 kilometers across. So basically, a neutron star means that it's basically one giant nucleus. You don't have, like an atom has a nucleus, and then it has the electrons whizzing around like way far away. But everything's so crushed in that basically everything is like a neutron, like a nucleus just crushed up together. So super heavy, and they are useful to us because, take a look at that little picture there. What happens is that it warps gravity significantly. So like a normal star is...
Where's this picture? This is from the Register.
no, the other one. There was another one, sciencemag.org.
Oh, sciencemag.org. Yeah, don't go to the UK version.
Actually, no, the Register, actually, there should be that picture here.
It's on both.
Yeah. You can see how this tiny thing is massively warping the gravity well.
So it's almost
whereas a
like
normal star,
it's almost a black hole, but it's just not quite dense enough.
right, but it's still dense enough to cause all sorts of weird things to go on with gravity. So we can use those to test relativity, basically. Because, like, sure, relativity works from the distance from here to the sun, but what happens when things really get screwy? Like we're finding out that quantum theory fucks up relativity when things get super small.
And it's undefined. Relativity theory is undefined inside a black hole because it's basically a singularity of space. It goes to infinity and nobody knows what the fuck
Yeah.
will happen.
So we're hoping like this sort of thing, these neutron stars may help us kind of get a handle on it. What happened is this story.
It's a weird story, though.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the basic story was it was just a report where they studied one of these neutron stars that had a white dwarf orbiting it, and they found that the orbit decayed in a way that meshed up with Einstein's relativistic theories. It did
in a
what
way
it was
that
supposed to do.
it should.
Right. They thought maybe the crazy gravity is going to give us different results. Turns out it did what it was supposed to do. So things are fine.
This one article starts by going,
But
like,
here's the thing. That article, the one that I found originally,
it goes in a crazy direction with this.
Yeah, because
it
what
starts by quoting like a science fiction
Joe Haldeman's Forever
author.
War. Like, every science fiction story has to have some way for us to get across the universe that we haven't figured out yet.
Right.
So his idea was that neutron stars, because of the weird gravity, basically you could just shoot into it fast enough and it would just spit you out at another neutron star somewhere. And that was, okay, cool.
This is a fictional novel that
Right.
said this could happen.
Right.
And this is a legitimate news story saying, unfortunately, this fictional idea is not
Well, no,
true.
it didn't even say that fictional idea. It said that relativity still holds. So what the register.co.uk said was like, oh, I guess relativity is still in place. So this very specific science fiction novel
was wrong.
Incorrect.
So this is the equivalent of me writing an article about clocks that starts with a quote from Slaughterhouse-Five and ends with me saying, I guess you can't get unstuck in time. Just think about clocks. Bop, bop, bop.
Sorry, Billy, not real. Yes, basically, which is fantastic. You can also tell, although boffins are what Brits call scientists. Boffin, which is a delightful name. Again, like
It's
gut.
so British.
I love that they call it boffin.
The tabloids smeared Sherlock with that.
But of course, this you can tell that it's a rag because they take it one step further. And Science, which is a reputable scientific journal, a peer-reviewed journal where articles are submitted, they're reviewed, and then they're published, and it gives scientists standing in the community, gets written up as the hefty boffinry mag Science, which sounds like a goddamn. There's a page 3 girl in the middle of it.
Well, also, just the title of this article, if you wish to be amused by reading it, is called Curse You, Einstein! Humanity Still Chained in Relativistic Prison! In bold.
Collapsar jumped from Forever War, seemingly not on cards.
So, yeah, basically, the thing that this guy made up in a story one time, it turns out not to be true.
Who would have thunk it? But on the other hand, I mean, given how difficult it is for journalists these days, it seems like a pretty decent well to go to. Any science story, to spruce it up, you can just say, well, looks like another famous novel, no longer, another famous science fiction tale, no longer possible. Oh, well. Eventually they'll get down to Harry Potter and like, what? You can't fly on a broom. Sorry.
Expelliarmus! Doesn't actually work.
Technodermatology.
If you ever wanted to punch a robot in the face
All the time.
and you wanted him to actually feel it,
Here's the thing. I have wanted to punch a toaster. I wanted to punch my computer. There are endless numbers
we can make this happen.
of things. Like, not specifically robots, mostly just appliances.
All of our
fucking washing
like our-
machines.
yeah.
Microsoft Word.
Oh, God. Whatever this thing is, can we put it on Microsoft
we were
Word so
going
we can
to
punch it in the fucking
sheath
face?
Microsoft Word in Smart Skin.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Smart Skin, which has the same sensitivity as human fingertips.
Oh, yeah. I like
so
that.
this is
I'm
pretty
so
awesome.
on board with this.
It was developed by nanoscientists. So you
By
know,
tiny scientists?
tiny little
Yes.
scientists.
This is the greatest story ever.
It says nanoscientists have developed an array capable of sensing touch with the same sensitivity as a fingertip.
Actually, I do want to just clarify. Are we calling them nanoscientists now? Because it makes sense. People who study nanotechnology could be called nanoscientists. I've never heard that
I would
before.
call myself the shit out of that if I was a nanoscientist.
How about a nanotechnologist?
I say it all the time.
A nanos.
So, baby, I'm a nanoscientist. But only where it counts. Wait, what?
nope, that doesn't work. Where's this from?
Wired. It's
God
Wired,
damn it,
Wired
Wired.
UK, actually, but I think
Okay.
it's on Wired.com.
Okay,
also.
so that can go in the boffin bin. That's a cute thing to call people who make incredibly small machines that are going to revolutionize human history.
Yeah, it's basically a plastic skin that has tiny transistors they're calling taxels. Taxels like pixels, except they're tactile.
Yeah.
8,000 taxels.
You gotta have a tastel? Because they're making like the smell thing for computers.
Right.
And obviously you've got headphones and you've got the computer screen. So taxtils for
touch.
For the pocket pussy that you plug into the USB. And tastels for... But I guess you would put something in your mouth.
So you're
It's like a little,
Again, the
and
pocket pussy.
lick your...
tastes like a rim job.
I don't think I want my real doll to actually feel. That just opens up the possibility of, don't touch me. Do you know how much I spent on you? Shut up. I'm trying to watch my stories. This is what all my girlfriends always say.
Why? Because you only date like 40-year-old black women?
Who don't have
40
jobs?
minimum. They have 8,000 taxels. It should say per square inch, I think. It just leaves that off. It's not just 8,000 taxels because that doesn't make any sense. But they're little piezoelectric sensors.
You made it sound nice that second time.
That's the Italian
Piazza.
in me coming out.
Piazza.
Oh, who wants a pizza?
An electric shock? What? No. Why ow? Why would you do that?
This is the worst store ever.
Piezoelectric are little devices that convert kinetic energy to electricity. So if you squeeze, it emits an electric signal. So thousands of tiny little electric signals that can sense pressure. So they can make a skin out of this and literally cover a robot so you could slap it and it would feel it.
Okay, hold on. This skin, I gotta think the first objective isn't to make a robot that can be slapped.
That's my first objective.
That wasn't the goal, was it?
I think they're thinking of, actually, they mention artificial skin for humans. who
Okay, yeah.
Burn victims,
Like grafts and
say,
stuff,
or
yeah.
if a monkey has ripped your face off.
Right,
You
right.
can perhaps, conceivably in the future, you'll be able to use this artificial skin and somehow send the signal to your brain, which
That's cool.
they haven't done at this point.
Well, yeah, but that's what we're headed towards. See, that makes more
Yeah.
sense. As satisfying as it is to slap your hairdryer that isn't working, I feel like that may be the first thing we go to is the skin grafts.
How long has it been since your hairdryer's been broke?
Pretty long time.
Maybe it's
It's
time.
been since I think I last used a hairdryer when I was 17, and then I was like, "Well, wait a minute, what?" Or I could just let it dry.
I think the only time I can ever remember using a hairdryer is when you get one of those free ones at a motel room.
Oh yeah.
You just look in the mirror and go, I'm a fancy boy.
I'm drying my hair. I don't have 3.5 minutes to wait for the air to do it.
Where's my robe? I'm in the lap of luxury.
Ooh, free lotion.
To
Looks
be
like
fair,
a party.
Can I say that it is pretty awesome to dry your downstairs? Like, not enough so that you would buy a hairdryer, but if you're in a hotel and you just get out of a shower, hells yeah, plug that thing in. Just pamper yourself. Why not?
Treat yourself good.
Yeah.
Treat yourself right.
I like drying off my downstairs while I'm in the shower.
No, you
hairdryer.
don't.
That's how you die.
That is a false premise. That is not a thing that you do.
Please,
you would be dead.
try this at home.
You would be dead.
Children.
No. Fans of other podcasts, try that at home. If you like this show, there aren't very many of you, for God's sakes. Take care of
Stay
yourselves.
alive, people. Stay alive.
9-year-olds that are fans of my show, because I know exactly how old you all are. I know you're 9. They're listening to this. Don't do that.
Don't take the hairdryer into the shower, kid. I was kidding.
For God's sake, stay
Oh,
alive long
shit.
enough to earn a wage so that you can send them money.
Actually, who am I kidding? Nobody that watches my show has pubes yet.
Neurotomiology.
Wouldn't you like to ask Google, where are my keys?
Oh, God, yes.
Right?
Oh, God, so much.
Right?
So Google could go, in your pocket, Dave.
I feel like Google's probably, if Google ever started talking, it would be a lot worse for you and people like you, that is to say people named Dave, than it is for the rest of us. Because anytime a computer starts talking into a monotone to you, there's a history there.
What are you doing, Dave?
I'm plugging you in, so you don't do that, Dave. No, I have to. You're going to...
Please stop typing, "What are you doing?" into me, Dave, so that you can hear my voice say, "What are you doing, Dave?"
You think that's fucking hilarious, don't you, Dave? I'm sick of your bullshit.
This is not the porn you usually search for, Dave.
Are we sure this is Dave on this computer now, Dave?
Dave usually searches for 16-year-old girls' pornography.
Home address.
Back to this. We call it smart dust, which is basically tiny computers, which is a thing that we've sort of talked about before. What these are...
Can you snort them?
Sure. Let's just say yes. Yeah, University of Michigan and Ann Arbor have created these things. They call them micromotes. They're a cubic millimeter in size, and basically they're sensors.
Millimeter.
They're
not quite the size of dust, but that's pretty damn impressive.
It's pretty small, yeah. And the idea is they're going to make them even smaller. And it's got a sensor, and they can monitor temperature or movement, and it's got a little transmitter to transmit its data, and basically that's it. The idea is, if you have something like this, you can just throw it in the air. And if it's just floating around just like dust, they're all transmitters and they're all sensors that can pick up things. Then you can ask the room, "Where are my keys?" And it's going to be able to find it, radio back to the main computer. It's like, "They're over here, man."
Cool.
Beep, 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 beep. They're going to be able to do things. Obviously, I mean, we've already talked about how these sorts of things can be injected into your blood and then can keep track of your vital signs or whatever.
Could it be dusted over a city and someone just go, "Where are the Jews?"
Here's the thing. The good news is you can find your keys. The bad news is a whole lot of other people can do a whole lot more nefarious shit if that's in fact the case. If you just have a bunch of dumb sensors, you
just
can find out a bunch of
basically
things.
transmitting dumb data everywhere all the time.
Right. And the thing is, again, we are getting to the point in human society where we have the technology to see everyone everywhere. Eventually, that technology will be used. So what we need to do is make sure that it's not a centralized power that is watching everybody do everything, but rather everybody seeing everybody doing everything. Because that information is already going to be there, and rather than give it to just corporations to use as they see fit, everybody should have access to it. So it's a different world. There's no privacy, but also
So vote for net
you don't
neutrality.
lock your motherfucking ass out of the house. Before you leave, your keys will go beep beep. "Hey man, come pick me up."
The cops will immediately be summoned to your house.
Yeah, sir, you left your keys. I'm sorry, Dave. You left your keys in the...
Sorry, Dave. We're going to have to lock you away.
The thing is, like, we're trying to make these things smaller. The biggest problem is, how do you power something that teeny tiny? Because you can't really do a teeny tiny battery. So what they're working on is scavenging power from their surroundings. For example, if you have these tiny micromotes near lights, you give them a teeny tiny solar panel, so it generates a teeny tiny bit of energy. Or with piezoelectricity, if they get stepped on a lot, for example, they're small enough so they'll recover, but also they'll use that little bit of kinetic energy, turn that into electricity.
They like being stepped on.
They like it.
You're weird. You're weird.
Oh yeah, you like that, don't you?
Slap me harder.
Find my keys. Find my keys.
Put on those stiletto heels.
You're only making me stronger.
Okay, now it's scary again.
This is kind of scary. It's really cool and also really scary.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
Nano machines are on the horizon now. It's coming soon. And
And as soon as we figure out how to deal with these major issues,
once you design micro machines that can live autonomously for a long
when you
period
say
of time.
micro machines, I think of little cars.
Tiny cars.
Get
Tiny
another
cars
word.
just zooming around
I think of the guy that
town
talks really
with
fast.
cameras.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to the micro machine man?
What if they just hired him back to be the voice of all of those tiny little
nanotechnology.
sensors? Oh, I'm right under you. I'm right under you. I can see what you're doing. Don't steal that.
I think that one of the applications for this in the future is going to be distributed systems. And these little pieces of dust can communicate with each other, and you ask it a question that one of them can't answer, but they all can break it apart and each do like one little piece of the answer and then communicate and basically do what a computer processor does in parallel.
But it's just out in the air.
Yeah. There was a cool concept in this book I've brought up before by Charles Strauss called Accelerando. After people had downloaded themselves into computer systems, there's one technology where you could download yourself into a flock of birds. So like one bird brain is not big enough to hold a human consciousness because it doesn't have enough neurons. Right. But a flock of birds has enough neurons to hold a human consciousness if they all had little transmitters and receivers and could share the information from the neurons. You wouldn't need one big brain. You could essentially live over a system of 100 brains.
So what you're saying is that someday I could actually be in Flock of Seagulls.
Yes, and someday I will be a murder of crows.
No. I could be listening on my iPod to Flock of Seagulls while I was actually a flock of seagulls. If they had a reunion tour, that flock of seagulls could be listening to Flock of Seagulls while I was a flock of seagulls.
You mean flock of seagulls will become a flock of seagulls, and then
we'll perform as a flock of seagulls, and you will listen to it as a flock of seagulls.
Holy shit! Science is fucking crazy, y'all.
Words with jerks.
Welcome to Words with Jerks. I wanted to tell you guys about Accelerando or Accelerando? Probably Accelerando.
Accelerando.
There's no X in it. Yeah, I guess if you're Italian. Like I've mentioned it a couple times in the podcast. I just really enjoyed it. It's by this guy Charles Strauss, Stross.
Charles Strauss.
Strauss. It's sort of a near future sci-fi kind of cyberpunk thing, and for one thing, he sort of predicts Google Glass, which is not even out yet. And
pretty sure everybody predicted Google Glass.
This was written in 2006, so
who doesn't want a computer in their face?
Yeah, he takes it to a place where basically humans merge with their glasses in a way that you have constant...
I merge with my iPhone.
Yeah, or I've merged with my contacts. Basically, you have all the information in the world in your eyeballs at all times. And then it talks about the Dyson sphere, which we talked about with Haley Mancini a couple weeks ago.
You bring the Dyson sphere up almost as much as I bring up.
I love this thing.
Guts.
Basically, it means surrounding the entire sun with solar panels so that there's a shell all the way around it in which the Earth spins inside of this globe.
Nobody else gets our sun.
You can't have our sun.
Sorry, Jupiter. Get it on Amazon. Get it on Audible. Get it on your Kindle. And get them all from our website at thesciencejerks.com. Click on the link. Buy them through us. It doesn't cost you anything more. And we get a little something so that we can buy whiskey with.
Click through. I'll put a post on this episode.
It's time for a quiz.
It's time for a quiz. We are back here with Carlo Moss. We didn't do so well last time, but this time it's going to happen. I can feel it in my bones.
I believe in us.
My teeny tiny bird bones. I feel it.
Fragile little baby duck bones.
So let's do this.
Question 1. What do humans catch zoonose diseases from? It's spelled like zoo nose. It's got to be something from animals.
Right. Zebras?
Zoonose? Oh,
Animals?
is it zoonose? Could it be, maybe it's just...
Zoonos?
Zoonose? Maybe it's just any animal.
It's just a disease from an animal.
Maybe it's just
zoonos.
animals is the answer.
Animals! Look at that. We've already got half the points that we got last time. So.
Perfect.
Let's keep this up. Question 2.
Let's end it now.
We're done. We're good. 1-1.
All right, question 2. What wheel did Blaise Pascal invent in his search for perpetual motion? I bet it's like a water wheel or something. Oh, no, a flywheel. Flywheel, right?
Flywheel?
Yeah. You know what a flywheel is? They used it in old elevators to store potential energy. It spins around real fast, and it has these weights, the counterweights that go up and down.
Okay.
It's used to store energy, and then it keeps spinning, and you can get the energy back out of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to be so pissed if the answer is Pascal's wheel.
Newton's cradle, fucking Newton. Fucking Pascal. The roulette wheel?
What?
Roulette wheel.
Shit. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that because I was thinking in terms of his contributions to computing, but I wouldn't have thought of like probability in that
He was
way.
searching for perpetual motion by creating a gambling machine.
I
He's like,
think what it was.
What's the probability I'm going to create a perpetual motion machine?
0.
Why do I keep putting money on this?
Question 3. How many minutes does it take the typical person to fall asleep?
It takes me approximately 6 hours or so, usually.
Oh, it takes me about 2.5 minutes. I feel like I've heard this number
average
before,
person?
and I think
Like
it's like about
5?
20 minutes.
Really?
I think so. How long do you take?
I'd say 12.
All right.
12.
Okay. Seems about right.
Exactly.
Depends if
Always.
I've been on Tumblr right before.
It really
girls
right
with
to sleep
tattoos.
after.
depends how many joints that I've smoked. But
15 seems like a good
Yeah.
split.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be
12.
a happy medium there.
Say 15.
15? I'm on board with 15.
I'm feeling 20.
Well, that's because you have, air quotes, insomnia. That's a joke if you live in a state that has medical marijuana. It's going to really hit with you. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
It's a real condition, man. Carlo, call it.
We'll go 15.
15.
15. Here we go. 7.
What?
My
7 minutes.
goodness.
Who
Again,
are
this-
those people?
These are people living in the 1980s who don't have the internet and laptop computers.
Times were much simpler then.
Question 4. What was the name of the mission that landed Armstrong and Aldrin on the moon?
I was going to say that's too easy.
Exactly. We had the same problem.
Apollo-
With like, which one was it?
It's Apollo 11?
I was going to say, 11 or 12. Apollo 13 was the one that went batshit, right?
That's the one where Tom Hanks got in trouble.
Yep.
Wait, haven't we had this question? Was it Apollo 7?
No,
that was
question
the
we
first
had
one to
before.
orbit the
yeah.
moon.
Yeah.
And
That was like 7 or 8.
that's why I grabbed this question because I knew that if we had a problem with that one, we were also going to have the same problem with this one.
I think it's 11.
I think 11.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say Apollo 11, and we'll all feel like complete assholes when it's wrong. Apollo 11.
Just one
That would've
asshole. 2 for 4.
One more. Where's the Sea of Showers?
There's no sea in showers.
What? Zing.
The SEA, the Sea of Showers.
I bet you it's the moon.
I was
good
gonna
guess, yeah.
go with outer space, somewhere in outer space. So like
They call those.
the Sea of
dark
Tranquility,
areas,
the Sea of Showers.
I guess I've never heard of it, but
I mean, there's also a Tumblr, but...
yeah, but that's the
It's
letter
weird
C.
stuff, yeah.
It's just a really unpleasant woman.
that's the Sea of Showers.
Oh, the puns are flying hot and
I don't
heavy.
even know
right
if that's a pun. That's just saying something wrong.
It's a homonym.
Let's see the moon.
The moon.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, you guys,
we didn't make a comeback.
No, but we did.
3
better.
out of 5 is a comeback when you start with 2 out of 5.
That's 5 out of 10, which is
Not bad. We
Honestly,
tied.
Once again, we're Hall of Fame baseball players. We're the greatest baseball player that ever played.
batting 500.
if we were batting. If this were running, like half the time you made it to first base,
Yep.
would that still be good?
Yeah.
If this were stopping incoming missiles from hitting your town,
That would be
we'd
terrible.
Doing
Yeah.
terribly.
Terrible.
We would not exist.
But we're still
It
here.
would be the Middle
It's
East.
all a matter of perspective, is what we're saying. We're just as good as our perspective says we are.
Evolution Watch.
I don't know how I've even waited this long to talk about this story, because I've been wanting to talk about it the whole time we've been recording. This is an evolution watch where we occasionally talk about weird evolutionary traits like dolphins evolving thumbs and taking over the planet.
Right. Which, to be clear,
Which happened-
has not happened yet.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I said yet because it's possible.
let's just say it hasn't happened at the recording of this podcast, but maybe by the posting of the podcast.
Or by the time that aliens come down, like hundreds of millions of years in the future, and they're doing their archaeological digs, and they pull up this podcast, as you will do, of
course.
Or perhaps you're a dolphin walking down, listening to your Walkman right now.
Sure.
A few years in the
What is
future.
the point of evolving back into land animals when they were land animals to begin with and then became sea creatures?
This is where all the cool stuff is.
What's the point of evolving back into using Walkmen?
That's the most salient point I think we've heard all.
At least we could feel superior when the dolphins come on land, take over our cities, murder us all, but we could still mock them for using 80s technology.
Hey, assholes, we had iPods.
Synth pop? Really? Okay, I guess. I'm trying to think of what would be like. Originally, I tried to mime a Neanderthal brow on a dolphin because that's what I thought of. And then I made a noise that I guess was like when in elementary school you try to like, yeah, duh, you're retarded.
Dumb
And then-
dolphin.
But it came out weird. Like, I guess like a dolphin who had a speech impediment.
It's a caveman
But was
dolphin.
also a caveman
It's a
dolphin.
caveman
Okay,
dolphin.
caveman dolphin.
Yeah, caveman
That's what that sound
dolphin.
was.
Hey, wait a second. New web show. Who wants to animate it? Caveman dolphin. Durr, I've got a Walkman. I listen to fucking seagulls.
Oh God, we need to make a T-shirt immediately. Because it is the best thing ever. And B, this show is done. We're stopping the Science Jerks podcast. We're starting the Caveman Dolphin podcast.
But we have not even gotten to the story yet.
Oh, okay.
Because the story
It's
is
even
about
crazier than that.
the horror frog.
Yeah.
The amphibian horror.
Start out with the frogs. You know what a frog is?
First of
they're
all,
cute and they're a little bit
think of a
slimy.
frog.
Adorable.
And they'll
What-
pee on
Now
What could
think
be
of a
horrible
frog
about them?
covered in hair,
Okay.
green hair.
Yep.
Reptiles aren't supposed to have hair. That's
Nope.
what mammals are supposed to have.
Yep.
Now,
Hairy frog.
think of a frog that has hair that, when threatened, breaks its own bones and shoves the broken shards of bone out through its palms to stab you.
This is the greatest thing of all things.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Reptiles had the T-Rex. That was some heavy shit. But this motherfucking frog
Outlasted the T-Rex, for one thing.
It's the Sonny Chiba of animals. Because that motherfucker is hardcore.
This motherfucker is badass. You do not fuck with the horror frog.
This frog is the equivalent of the guy that right before you get into a fight, he punches himself in the
Right.
face.
This
Just
The
to show
guy
how crazy
who
he
holds a
is.
lighter under his arm for a minute and a half.
It's Begbie from Train Spotting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to destroy my own bones and stab you. I'm so pissed off right now.
My issue with this is that the scientists have not yet called it a Wolverine frog. Because
It's a slam dunk.
it's
That
a
is
fucking
absolute-
hairy
it's
frog.
Not made of adamantine.
It's a frog, so amphibians heal themselves, and he has bone spurs coming out of his hands.
If you're a scientist, how do you not come up with that name just for the sole sake of getting funding?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Everybody's putting money into that thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess there's not a lot much more funding to be done. Like, we found this thing. You're not
Now
going
we just need to breed him over and over again until we have an army.
No. Why would you want to do
The
that?
start of a terrible movie.
Or the best movie.
Yes.
horror frog, the plague. Oh yeah. If this is what God sent down to plague.
This was
the
raining from the
Egyptians.
skies.
Yeah, this like frogs. Big fucking deal. All they do is they make squishy noises, and occasionally they'll pee on your rug.
Yeah.
But a horror frog, good God, try and get to school through a
Shiv
rain
you
of
with
that.
his own bone.
How much better would Magnolia would have been?
But that's our show.
And that's our show. Thank you very much to our guest who loves 9-year-old girls as much as they love him.
What?
Carlo Moss.
What? This took a horrible turn. It's now going to be used in a court case.
We called the police at the beginning of the podcast.
This is going to be used in conjunction with security camera footage from Toys R Us.
Yeah, how many Barbies have you had to go buy?
God. I have an elaborate backstory every time I walk into a toy store. This is for my nephew. I mean, my niece. I've ruined...
Just kids. I just like kids. I just like kids. I just want to give these to kids.
Oh, yeah, we see a lot of adults in here buying toys for kids. It's not a weird thing. Okay, cool.
I went into
the normal thing.
the American Girl store in the Grove because my niece wanted a doll, and I was going to go look in there, and I had to leave after like 30 seconds because I'm like, I fucking look creepy. They're calling the police right now.
Sure,
all the cameras are pointed at me.
Obviously, like the clerks have been trained. If you see like a creepy single guy walk
like
in,
a 38-year-old guy with a beard.
Yeah. Boom.
Like
that man.
you almost have to stand outside with money and find a woman to go in. And,
Excuse me.
Can you go buy a doll for me, please?
The equivalent of
look,
finding
like
a
buying
homeless
cigarettes.
guy.
Little kid, here, let me give you some money. And you, what? No, I just no.
This is being misconstrued.
No, kid, I'll buy you cigarettes if you buy me a doll. Fair trade. Even Steven.
Where can they find you online?
Online, you can find me on Twitter at Carlo Moss, CarloMoss. If you want to hear me tweet in the voice of a 17-year-old girl, you can follow at Mackenzie Zales.
Oh,
yeah.
You got you. Okay.
I've got Twitters and Facebook for all the characters.
How many? All the characters on your show have Twitters?
No, each character gets their own piece of social media. So one has a Twitter, one has a Facebook.
Really?
The dorky girl Rachel Tice has her own Google Plus. She's getting super into Entourage now. I'm at the storyline with the Medellin. The reviews are not good. That Billy Ward, she's a wild card.
Yes, you can follow me at Mackenzie Zales if you want to hear me tweet in the voices of a 17-year-old girl, or if you want to watch the show, go into youtube.com/themostpopulargirls.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, and our past guest Haley Mancini is on some upcoming
Yes,
episodes.
she is.
Right?
She's one of the rival cheerleaders from Atchison High School
Oh,
in Kansas.
shit.
Yeah, there's some shit going down. She plays Trisha too.
Can you do a Haley Mancini voice now?
What can you do, a Jodie Foster?
Yeah, how's your Jodie Foster hold up?
Not good. Not good.
I went all the way to this planet and I just found my dad.
I was just about to jump down your throat for having a terrible Jodie Foster. Not a bad Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster at all. Not at all.
You can find us on Twitter at The Science Jerks. We're also at thesciencejerks.com or sciencejerks.com. We're on Facebook. You can email us.
Science Jerks, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Go to our website. The next time you want to buy a book on Amazon, you can click through and we'll get a penny.
Or the next time you want to buy Barbies on Amazon, just do that too. Doesn't matter.
It's way less creepy. We won't judge you for buying Barbies through our website.
Have you realized that there's online shopping? You don't even have to go into the store. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
we have ordered a lot of Barbie things from eBay and Amazon.
But
There are a lot of weird eBay resellers that sell really specific, really old stuff.
does anybody get excited that their Barbies are going to be on your show or anything?
No, because we don't really...
You don't tell.
Yeah, we don't tell them. But what people do get excited about is when either myself or Mark or Lily go to Toys R Us and we tweet a picture of the outside of Toys R Us. That is always the most retweeted tweet on my Twitter account.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You have carved yourself out the best / weirdest career.
Yep.
Well, we're going to have a lot of Caveman Dolphin followers pretty soon.
Yeah, we are.
To start that series up. Thanks for being here, Carlo.
Thanks for having me.
See y'all next week.
Everybody's boyfriend voice, like, oh, my boyfriend's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my girlfriend, she's just like, rah, 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 rah.